Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. It's a special guest podcast. You know how I love talking to other people, get bored of my own voice. I would love to welcome welcome to the podcast. Oh my gosh. Sarah Smith from SRS Fitness. Sarah, hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me today. This is great.
It is great. I'm so excited. So we've just had a 15-minute speed catch up because I might need to do some mental arithmetic and work out when the last time we saw each other was. It's potentially
I'm thinking
18 years.
yeah, I'm thinking like maybe 2005,
Five.
something like that. A
Yeah.
long time.
So 18 years because when we were
Yes.
three was the last time we saw each other.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely not when we were in our mid-20s because we're
No.
no. Um, so Sarah, tell us who you are, what you do. Maybe within that we could talk a little bit about how we know each other, and let's dive into talking about all the things we want to talk about because we've got a lot to crack on with.
We do. We do. So, hi, everyone. It's really good to be here. Chrissy, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I am first and foremost, I'm a mum of three. So I have a daughter called Charlotte, who is 23. I have Olivia, who is 13. And I have William, who is 8. And I am also a personal trainer. I've been doing this job now for just coming up for 10 years. So I work from my own studio at home and I love what I do. It's a really interesting job. I get to meet a lot of different people and it's a really rewarding job. So yeah, I kind of guess I it's probably not an exaggeration to say I fell into it, if you like. I never liked sports at school. Never was really into PE at all. I was the one that probably tried to take the shortcut around the cross country route.
Me too.
Um, yeah, didn't like tennis, didn't like hockey, all of the sports that we were supposed to partake in. Probably the only one I did like was maybe gymnastics and maybe trampolining. So yeah, not sporty at all. And then when my eldest daughter was 2, 3, maybe 2, I decided to join the gym. Um, I was a single parent at the time and I was fairly low in confidence and I
Mm.
didn't like the way I looked, didn't like the way I felt, and decided for some bizarre reason to go and try the gym. So I wandered into the gym, not knowing what I was doing or anything, and it was pretty scary because I
Mm.
didn't know anyone there and had no idea what to do. Anyway, got into a regular routine of working out. And then over the years, I found it made me really feel good. It improved my confidence. I could see results. And after a while, I started to kind of get a little bit braver, ventured into the weights room at the gym. That was like super scary. And that's one of the things that I often have conversations with my ladies about. They often say to me they wouldn't dream of going into the weights room at the gym
Mm.
because they have no idea what they're doing. They're too scared to do it, and everyone in there looks like they know what they're doing. As a side note, I'll just say they don't. You might think they do, but most of them are just winging it.
Second
Um,
side note, they're also thinking exactly the same thing.
for
Third
sure,
side note, they just care about themselves.
for sure. Yeah, exactly. It's like one of the most hostile places, so it is scary. Um, and then I had some PT sessions. So I had some sessions with a great guy who really taught me how to lift weights. And I remember doing that for the first time, and I had the barbell and I was being taught how to deadlift. Um, and it just felt great because I was in this area with all of the guys. I was like the only girl in there lifting this heavy weight. And it was just amazing. And it was from then on that I developed my love of weight training. I was like, this makes me feel really good. It's fun. It's not boring like your standard fare of sitting on the treadmill, sitting on the bike, whatever. Um, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I had a few sessions with him. The more sessions I had with him, the more I thought to myself, I'd like to do this as a job.
Mm.
Um, now, obviously, as you mentioned, Chrissy, we used to work together. So, dare I say, back in the day when we were three. And it's, yeah, I guess, as in a kind of in a nutshell, I never really knew what I wanted to do. So I fell into kind of office work, admin, and then, into the recruitment. And that's obviously where we met each other. And then when Olivia was born, so my 13-year-old, when she was born, I then um, decided that in order for me to be at home with her more, I needed to do a home-based job. So the recruitment went to one side. I stayed at home with her. I did some training and qualifications to become a childminder so I could work from home.
Mm.
And I did that for probably 2, 3 years. Which was great. It enabled me to stay at home with her, and it gave her a really, really good start in life. Meant I didn't have to put her in nursery or anything like that. Then what happened was my husband got a new job, which enabled us to kind of get the money together for me to be able to then do my training to be a PT. Best decision ever, to be honest with you, because it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I think that shows in my work. So did lots of distance learning, lots of visits into London, working on the gym floor, lots of kind of groups with people and things like that, lots of practical experience, and then my exams. And then the sort of the dream was starting to become a bit of a reality. Initially, I guess my plan was to work from a gym because I knew nothing else. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's what everyone does. So I spoke to the guys at my local gym who were happy to take me on, thought about it more and more, and decided, it wasn't really for me for a number of reasons. But it wasn't really for me. I wanted to carve my own niche and create my own way and work how I wanted without anybody telling me what I could do, what I couldn't do. I wanted to be in control of my own stuff.
Yeah. And to go and clean the treadmills.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Because there's a whole lot of hours spent cleaning when you work in a gym.
Yeah.
And so it actually, from a timing perspective, worked really well, because not long after I had finished my qualifications, or just as I was finishing, in fact, I found out I was expecting William, who's my youngest. And the whole working in a gym, childcare dilemma wasn't going to work either. So I took a big step and decided I was going to set up by myself. Now, any PTs out there will know that when you set up by yourself, that means you work in the park, you go to people's houses, you drag your kit everywhere, you say yes to everything. Yes to Sundays, yes to evenings, yes to early mornings. There is nothing, that you will say no to, because it's like you're building your brand, you're building your business. And I've worked with a really interesting variety of people, wide age range of people, men, women, and learned a lot of stuff over the last 10 years since I've been doing this. It's been a steep learning curve in a lot of ways, because what you learn in the beginning, the even through the practical assessments, what you learn in all of the distance learning and the exams and stuff, that's brilliant. Gives you a really good solid grounding. But the majority of learning for me has come from experience.
Yeah. It's so true. You don't think, even just things like communication skills and stuff like that, you can't get that from your PT training. No.
You're absolutely right. And I think I was having a conversation with a client the other day about a big skill, and that is being able to listen to people. And that's something that a lot of people find quite challenging.
Mm.
And so I spend a lot of my time during sessions listening to people before I then decide which route to take with them. You know,
Yeah.
um, people have differing wants from a session as well. Some people like to come in and from the outset, and you can very quickly tell this from the outset, they're like, train me hard, push me hard. I want like the minimum time of recovery. Let's go. Other people want to do a bit of movement and a bit of chit chat, a bit of feel good, and they want to talk through their challenges and their issues with you. So you're there as a kind of um, like emotional support and mental support to them. You're there as a kind of all-round coach, really.
Mm.
I guess the people that come in sometimes they, they'll come in and they'll completely open up about things. I've had tears, I've had anger, I've had hysteria. It all happens. The door closes, then we get talking, and people seem to just flows.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because it's I think it's what you might or might have been referred to previously as like for hairdressers, like
yes,
hairdressers. But
yeah.
obviously we probably see, unless someone's going to the hairdressers every week, good for them.
Which good luck
But
if they are. Yeah,
yeah, but we see people so and speak to them so regularly, and I guess this links into what we were talking about before we hit record, which is this is not just, you people come to you and they want to get fit, and I know that you help them with all aspects of that, with nutrition and everything as well.
that's right. Yeah,
But we were saying before we hit record, it is that it is so much more than growing a bit of muscle, losing a bit of body fat. It is about the whole, if you look at the dictionary definition of health, being
yeah,
physical, emotional, mental, environmental, social, it's everything. and
for
and
sure.
that is what you become when you do a job like ours.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think people often don't realize when they come in, they think they need one thing, but actually they need a multitude of things, you know. And I will often say to people when I very first meet them, our relationship doesn't stop as soon as you step out of the gym. I am here to support you when you need it. So, for example, if you're at the supermarket and you're overwhelmed by, I don't know, the aisle of yogurts, and you're like, which one do I choose? Um, Take a snapshot, take a video, and go, Sarah, help. Which one is best for me? What should I do? It it kind of I can give people that confidence as I give them the tools to get through, whatever challenges they're facing, their confidence grows.
Mm.
So, as another example, I have people that come to me regularly, once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, but now they also go to the gym as well.
Mm.
Whereas previously, when they would have first started working with me, they came to me because they were too scared to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Now they know what they're doing. And actually, I must mention one of my ladies the other day. She was at the gym and somebody came up to her and said to her, "Are you a PT?" And she said, I know. I was like, surely the ultimate compliment. Um, she said, "Thanks very much, but no, I'm just focused on my workout," kind of thing. Because I'd said to her, you go in there, you take your training log, you go in there with a plan, you know what you're doing. I'd written her a plan of action, what I wanted her to do. You write down what you're doing, how you're feeling, and you go in there and you get the job done. But
Mm.
most people go in and they just wing it. They think it's okay to just rock up, and they're like, well, what shall I do today? I'm going to sit on the treadmill while I decide, maybe
Yeah.
do a few weights machines and whatever. And if that's your thing, then and it makes you feel good, then fine. But I think there's a whole lot of misconceptions about what is necessary for optimal health. you know, particularly with women, it's so important to get them lifting weights and to kind of dispel the myth of, you know, oh, you don't want to lift weights because you'll get bulky.
You get bulky. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the most overused like sentence almost ever. And I have a brilliant analogy whereby I say to people, okay, so you don't want to get bulky, so indulge me here. Okay, just visualize this in your mind.
Sure.
Okay. Um, Imagine you're standing on the beach in a thong bikini. Okay. And I said to you, right, imagine that. You imagining it.
Oh yeah.
Do
Yeah. I'm there.
yeah, do 50 jumping jacks. Okay. And think about when you're doing those jumping jacks, what's wobbling. Okay. Now go and weight train for 6 months. Then go back to the beach, do the same 50 jumping jacks in the same thong bikini, and you'll get way less wobble.
Yeah.
That is what weight training does for you. And that's it's a real visual to help people to understand that what they're going to gain from that is health. Aesthetics are a complete side note. You know, how you look is a complete side note, but you're going to be stronger, you're going to be fitter, you're going to have greater bone density. It's all about the long game,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and people really respond well to that because they picture this in their head and they're like, yep, thong bikini, jumping jacks, okay, got it. And you get them on a program and they can really feel the difference
Yeah.
very quickly, you know.
Yeah. It's so let's go there a little bit because we did say we were going to bust some myths as well
Yes,
as we
great.
went through here. So,
Love this.
you know, for women, lifting weights will make you bulky, you know, okay, absolutely not. It won't.
Yes,
The health benefits as women, because I mainly look after women, most of my audience, when I've polled it, are women. So, but if you
yes,
are a man listening, you're still welcome here.
yes. Hi to all the guys out there.
Yeah. But the health benefits of lifting weights are huge,
Right,
absolutely huge. So,
right.
and particularly as we get to a certain age, you know, I don't want to presume anything, Sarah, but I definitely know that I am feeling the effects of perimenopause a
Yes, it's
lot.
really big out there at the minute, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
everywhere you look.
yeah,
There's much more info out there now, isn't there? You know, around
yeah,
it and what you need to do to help yourself.
absolutely. So there's two things. Can you explain scientifically why lifting weights, if there's someone out there listening and
Mm,
who really wants to maybe start lifting weights but is scared of getting bulky,
yes.
firstly, why scientifically will they not get really bulky? And secondly, can you, in your words, describe why lifting weights has changed your confidence and changes the confidence levels of your clients? Because I feel that the first
Yes.
time I ever lifted a weight, I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
amazing. So can you answer those
absolutely.
two?
Yes, yes. Okay. So, from a scientific perspective, um, I don't want to get too sciencey, but I find it's better to kind of explain it to people in a term that they will be able to visualize. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you've seen on the internet, you know, you've seen two pictures. Okay. So, like 5 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of muscle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can I just quickly interject as well with a side note of muscle doesn't weigh more than fat?
I know that one.
That's another one right there, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
a nugget right there.
yeah.
So 5 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of muscle. Okay. So if you were to hold 5 pounds of fat in your hand, it would spill out all over your hand. Okay. Think
Yeah,
of like Play-Doh or something like that. Okay.
yeah.
It would be all like floppy and, you know, just wobbly, etc. Okay. You know what it's like. You know what it looks like on your body. Okay. 5 pounds of muscle. Think of that as like a tennis ball. It's solid. It's compact. It feels good. It doesn't wobble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lifting weights gets you the tennis ball, not the Play-Doh.
Yeah,
Okay. So by lifting weights, you are going to get firmer, you're going to get stronger. Okay, stronger doesn't necessarily mean or equate to, for everyone, being able to bench press more or deadlift more or whatever. Stronger can mean you are able to perform everyday activities with a reduced risk of injury. You can carry your shopping in up the stairs, you can move your furniture around, you
Yeah.
can go to the top of a ladder and decorate your ceiling without the risk of kind of falling off, and things like that. Physique wise, yes, you can weigh more but look smaller. You know, I put a post out this morning on my Instagram about the fact that I was happy when I weighed myself, which I never do, incidentally, or rarely. I weighed myself and the scales had gone up. This to me was a kind of, you're doing the right thing with your training, because you're
Mm.
smaller, you're firmer, but the scales have gone up. So you know you are packing on that muscle, which is what you want
Mm-hmm.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, scientifically, I guess basically you want the tennis ball, not the Play-Doh. Weight
Yeah.
training gives you that firmness and that strength. Um, Great for bone density, particularly like you were saying, your audience is a lot of women. So we know that bone density sadly starts to decline fairly rapidly
Yeah.
after, you know, the age of about 20. It can end
Yeah.
up really declining. So you need to train. You need to try and maintain as much of that bone density as you can, so that as you get into your later years, your risk of osteoporosis is as reduced as it can be.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and then
as women, we don't have enough testosterone in our bodies to get as bulky as men. Like, we
absolutely,
just don't have that. I mean,
absolutely, and
it
that's the other thing. There's a reason that the the guys that you see, if you go to the gym, the guys that you see that are quote unquote big or bulky, they are like that because they haven't even got enough testosterone in their own bodies. A
yeah.
lot of them will be adding it in the form of helpers, you know, a lot
Yeah.
of them will be taking additional supplements, good, bad, whatever, to help them achieve a certain aesthetic. So, you know, like you rightly said, our levels of testosterone are not there to enable us to get bulky.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, they're just not. So, you know, it kind of, that should help to dispel any kind of fears around women weightlifting. You know, I have yet to have a woman in my gym. And as I say, I've been doing this job for 10 years. I've yet to have a woman in this gym who, when I get them lifting weights, goes, well, that was a bad idea. Look at me
Yeah.
now.
I know. I
You know,
know.
I've
I
got muscles
know.
everywhere
I
and,
know.
you know, nothing is wobbling.
No.
Um, and lots of them love it. They
Yeah.
feel super confident, particularly when I get them doing the big lifts. So, you know, your staples, your squats, your deadlifts, your bench presses, things like that. Um, they absolutely love it. They feel really good,
Yeah.
you know.
Why do you think it makes us feel so confident? Why?
I think it's been for years and years, it's been traditionally a male thing. And I think now it's much more mainstream for women to lift weights. So we almost have permission to go, I can do that too. You
Mm.
know, I can do that. And look, I can be as good as you. You know,
Yeah.
I can deadlift my own body weight. I can bench press. I can all of the I can do pull-ups, you know, and all
Yeah.
the rest of it. And it it makes you feel like a badass,
Yeah,
you
it
know.
does. It
Yeah,
does.
because you have all of these kind of societal imposed um, roles and to a certain degree limitations. And, you know, you kind of want to break out of that and go, well, actually, women can do that too. You know,
Yeah.
we can do it just as well. It's about learning the things the right way and keep doing it. Keep doing
Yeah.
it, keep doing it. Consistency just it pays off.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it makes people feel good when they start to feel stronger
Yeah.
and when they perform the same exercises very regularly. They know what to do. I say, right, today we're going to deadlift. Okay, great. So they know the steps, they know the setup cues, they know what they're doing, and they're like, hey, I can do this.
Mm.
So if you unpick it, it's like a confidence thing. It's a self confidence thing when they look at that bar on the mat in front of them and they know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
realize it's making them feel strong, it's making them feel empowered, and it's changing their physique at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a
It
win-win.
it also, I think, builds like resilience. So
Yeah,
like my example is last year I spent a lot of time working on my pull-ups, and I got to 8. And then
yeah,
in December last year, I injured myself. And so I was seeing an osteopath. I literally could do no upper body work for about 2.5 months this year.
yeah. That's tough.
And I was really, really super upset. And it's really frustrating. But I did
Yeah,
all the exercises I had to do. I rehabbed, step by step. And then about 5 weeks ago, I was like, right, I'm going to try and get I'd
yeah,
been doing some dead hangs just to try
yeah,
and get, and I was like, right, I'm going to go back to pull ups. And I managed to.
yeah,
And then last week, I got back up to 7. And it is that resilience.
yeah.
So, and people might be listening and being like, okay, Chrissy, so what? You can do a pull up. So what? You can
Mm,
do 7 pull ups. But to me, that is showing me that in the last 5 weeks, I've done all the training around it. I've done all of the right things. And
yeah,
now I can do 7, 5 really good ones and 2 really ropey ones. Give me another 5 weeks and I'll be back to 8, and
exactly.
it's built the resilience. Yes, you
Yes.
can.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree with that 100%. It's about having that mindset that, you have to look at the long game. Everyone's journey is going to be a series of ups and downs. It's never, I say to people like weight loss, for example, if that is their goal, it's never linear. You will have
No.
those ups and downs, and you have to think of the long game. So you have to have that ability to pick yourself up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had a rubbish training session a couple of weeks ago, really rubbish. I'd been unwell. I quite frankly hadn't eaten enough. I was dehydrated, and I still came in the gym and did a session. It was rubbish. I I did it, and I was glad I did it, but equally, I knew that even though it was subpar, I had still given it my all in that session. And so
Mm.
your all one day could be, yeah, that was like a 6 out of 10. Your all another day, you might be feeling like superhuman on another day, and you might be like, I am nailing this today. This is a 10. You know, you have to remember that, by keep doing the same things week in, week out, and building that resilience, you have to remember that you will get there. You
Yeah.
really will. And if you only put in the work when you feel like it, you won't.
No.
You have to just keep going, keep going, and remember, you know, the long game,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. For sure. Um, okay. So let's change direction a little bit.
Mm,
As a busy mum of 3 children, running your
yes,
own business, it would be really easy for people on the outside to be looking in and be thinking, well, you must have your self-care nailed. You must be great at it.
right.
So what do you do for your own self-care, and what are the challenges for you?
So I've been much better over the last couple of years. I went through a rough period about 4 years ago, and I had to take a step back from social media and really even from working out and stuff like that for a little while. And I part of it was from those experiences made me really look at what I needed and
Mm.
how to look after myself. Um, and also, I think there's definitely an element of as you get older, this sounds so cheesy, but I mean, I'm 43. nearly 44, actually, 44 this month. And I've learned so much in the last couple of years about what I need and what makes me feel good. And you get more confident with um, addressing those needs as well. So I think to myself, what do I need today? What do I need? Do I need to work out? I make it a habit to work out at least 3 times a week. Within that, I will do one upper workout, one lower workout, and one mixed workout. Anything I do over and above that is a bonus. But I think it's really important to not set the bar too high. You want to set realistic goals, because if you don't, no one wants to fail, dare I say it? Yeah, no one wants to fail. We want to hit those targets. We want to feel like we've achieved. So, yeah, so I make sure that I factor in my workouts because they're good for my head. I say no to things, and that can often be tougher than you think, to have those boundaries and to maintain them, because it's all very well saying no to something initially and then being talked into it then and going, oh, I wish I'd stuck with it. I wish I'd stuck to my guns and said, yeah, thanks, but still no. And a lot of the time, people really respect you for having those boundaries. So healthy boundaries, definitely. And figuring out what you need at any given time. So I learned from someone great recently, factor in, book your downtime, book your workout time, not just things you have to do. And to be fair, everyone listening out there, that was thanks to Chrissy. It really struck me because we live in a society where there's like the never-ending to-do list. So you have a list of stuff that you should do, and what about the stuff that you want to do? That's as important. And so for me, it's about looking at my week and going, okay, when am I going to get my workouts in? When am I going to get a bit of downtime in? When am I going to sit and read my book? When am I going to do stuff with my children, like fun stuff other than the regular mum stuff? And also with the kids, doing stuff individually with them as well, because I have 3 kids and they are all differing ages, they have different needs. The youngest 2 are at home, but my oldest daughter, she now doesn't live at home anymore and she's got her own independent life, but it's still great for us to spend time together. So we might go out for a day shopping, or something like that. My other 2, that's more like, we might go to the cinema, we might go bowling, I might take them for a coffee, and they love that time just with me. But for me, that's important as well, to do something like that, so that the week doesn't just go by in a flurry of should do's and my to-do list. So
I love that, the should do's and the want to do's and the night, so important. I've just realized the time. I'm really sorry, we've been talking for so long.
Oh my goodness.
Are you all right to fit for us to finish up? Have you got
of course.
When's your first client?
I've gotten 45 minutes till my next client. So yes. Yeah. We're fine.
Right. So tell me, what's your favourite exercise?
Favourite exercise, probably the deadlift. Yeah, I do love a barbell deadlift. It works so many body parts, and it just makes you feel so good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, once you nail a deadlift, that's it. You're good.
Yeah, I have to say it is closely followed by a pull-up.
Yeah. Okay, good. How do you feel about Bulgarian split squats?
Oh, we have a love-hate relationship here.
Don't you?
Yeah, they're up there with like jumping lunges and things like that. Bulgarian split squats, I do them week in, week out, because I know they're good for me. Do I like them? No.
I train with my friend Lucy, and we have a love-hate relationship with Bulgarian split squats and step ups.
I love a step up. Love a step up. Yeah, really love them.
Really, really get you wishing that life was different.
For sure.
Okay, so we promised that we would talk about, before we hit record, any tips that you might have. And I just want
Yes.
to check, because I know you'd been giving this a lot of thought. Are there any
Mm,
more myths you really need to get out there and bust? And don't forget, we
yeah.
can always have a part two, because
Yes, a part two
I
would be
love
fab.
chatting.
I feel like we've scratched the
Scratch the
surface here, and we need a
surface.
part two.
Yeah.
We need like
Yeah.
a volume two. Okay, so where do I even start with? I could go on all day. Anyone listening out there is probably already tired of my voice by now, but probably number one fitness myth is the lower your calorie intake, the quicker the weight loss. No, that is not the case. Okay. And I explain this to people really quickly like this. Okay. If you drove your car to Scotland,
Yeah.
okay, would you then go,
I know what you're
oh, I'm
going to
not putting any
say.
more petrol in it? Yeah, not putting any more petrol in it. Driven you to Scotland, you've worked really hard, but you get no more petrol.
Yeah.
Do not listen here. Do not cut your calories too low. Okay, that will at best drastically slow your results down, and at worst halt your results, and you'll have like no energy for working out.
Yeah.
So don't cut them too low.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
There
and
are a very small minority of outliers that need to be on 1200 calories. And that is because they are diddy women
yes,
who don't need as much energy as that. But
for sure.
most people do not need to be on 1200 calories.
Absolutely. People in my experience nearly always need more calories than they think they do. When I say to them, right, we're going to work out your calories, I'm going to give you a calorie goal to stick to, they always look at me and I can see the fear in their eyes. And then I work it out, well, I give them their calorie goal and they're like, okay, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
biggest one. Do not cut your calories too low.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. What about
yeah,
your tips? Biggest, like, I don't know, 2, 3 tips if for any busy mums out there, all mums are busy, who want to
yes,
get in shape and just
yeah.
don't know where to start. How can they start?
Right. Okay. So my first tip, and it's a really useful one actually, is basically a method called habit stacking. And it's something I use with my clients who I work with on mental health. It's about pick something you do every day. Okay. Take, for example, brushing your teeth. You want to get more exercise in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tag it onto a habit you already do. Okay. So, for example, you brush your teeth. As soon as you put your toothbrush down, you do 20 squats and a plank. Okay. That way, you know you are doing something every day. You
Yeah.
build up from there. So, you're not going to forget because you brush your teeth every day, or at least I hope you do. And it's something that because you're tagging it on, it becomes the norm. So habit stacking, pick something you do, add on something you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love
Start
it.
little. Don't set the bar too high. Start little and you can add on. But if you set the bar too high and then you're like, oh, I can't keep this up, that's demotivating. No one wants that.
Yeah.
So that's tip number one. Tip number two, be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself how you would talk to a friend, because so often we are our own harshest critics. And we're like, oh, well, that was stupid. You didn't manage to keep that up. Or, oh, you've done really badly today. You've got not ticked it up off your to-do list, whatever. Would you dream of talking like that to someone else?
No.
Not in a million years.
No.
So be kind to yourself. Okay. And they're two very different tips. Obviously, one is focused on like incorporating more activity into your day, tagging it onto something else. And the other one is about looking after yourself because we don't do enough of that. And that's really important as well.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
I have loved this chat, and we are definitely doing a part two.
We must.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I always ask people this. What's your favorite food?
Oh, favorite cheese, probably.
I thought you might
Any
say
and
that.
all. Any and
Because
all cheeses.
you love France as well, don't you? You go to
I
France every
absolutely
year.
love
Yeah,
France. All things
we love
French.
France. We go to
Yeah.
France every year as well. So I thought you might say for France.
Yeah.
Cheese. And what wine would you pair that with?
Oh, it depends what mood I'm in, really, because I do like a good red. But I really like a rosé. Oh, actually, this sounds terrible. Don't judge me here, listeners. I like a white as well. Probably with cheese. Probably with cheese. I'd like a red. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe a nice Malbec or something like that would be good. Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
They're a
Good.
great pairing.
Cheese. Love it.
Love
Um,
it.
this has been awesome. We'll make sure that all of your social media links and everything are in the show notes. But where can people
Marvelous.
find you? Where are you most active? Instagram, I would say, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm most active on Instagram and my Facebook page. So yeah, over on Instagram I have at SRS Fitness PT. Same with my Facebook page. And also just a quick shout out, which is my latest venture, branching off into more mental health, is on Instagram at the Mental Health Method, which is a new program I've created as well.
Yeah, and
So
we'll talk about that in part two, I reckon.
marvelous. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Sarah. This has been amazing. Thank you
it's been
for
my
coming
pleasure.
and chatting to us. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Please make sure that you share the podcast if you have enjoyed it and give it a rate and review. We'll have Sarah back for part two really, really soon. Have an awesome week, everyone, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.